we're taking a moment to ensure that it's a special moment and not rush the moment, to acknowledge and honor someone in our community who, when I first met this person, I felt her presence beyond measure. And it was very early on with me finding Science Mind, and eventually as I moved into leadership for the larger organization, I became the nominating chair for the newly established Centers for Spiritual Living, and I said, you need to come in, and our organization needs you. Please step into leadership. And she said yes. And there's so many things that I can say. I'll say a few more in a little bit, but first I want to let you know that this person has received the absolute highest award that our denomination can give. Woo-hoo! Yes. And I want to tell you about this award first, before we tell you about her. So the Ernest Holmes Award is the highest honor conferred by our organization. It shall be conferred upon a person who exemplifies and personifies the teaching of our founder, Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a visionary teacher, author of the Science Mind textbook, and creator of the Science Mind magazine. His genius was an ability to turn old theological concepts into meaningful new ways of living in a changing age. And that changing age is still here. And so, likewise, the person who is chosen to receive this award is given this award because they've contributed to the evolution of the science of mind and opened doors for new people to discover this teaching. So I want to tell you a little bit about this person that you may not know, because we see her so often in our community. She's a pillar in our community. She's a presence in our community. She's a teacher in our community. She's a practitioner in our community. And she's a lot more than that. She became a licensed practitioner in 2011. In the past 10 years, Tracy Brown has taken the Science of Mind teaching out into the world as host or producer of several internet radio shows, including Say Yes to Spiritual Practices That Work, and Intentionally Inclusive. Tracy is the author of 11 books, including I Turn to Prayer, a popular collection of prayers in different formats, making our spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative prayer, accessible and understandable to many. As a result of her 2015 TEDx talk at SMU, entitled What's Mine to Do, she has written a book and moderated an active, and it's very active, thousands of people on this forum that reminds people to be for mutual respect and love instead of getting trapped in fighting against anything or anyone. She is a faculty member of the School for Spiritual Leadership, formerly known as the Ernest Holmes Institute, which is our ministerial education program. She has developed and delivered curriculum for more than 30 workshops and classes relating to applying science mind principles and practice in the world we live in today for students and for ministers. She has served on the Leadership Council for Centers for Spiritual Living, which again is the largest leadership body in our organization, from 2013 to 2016. That included in that a period of time serving as vice chair for 2 years. She has recently, as of Monday, returned and been re-elected to serve another 3 years on the Leadership Council, and on Monday she was made the chair of the Leadership Council. And if that wasn't enough, we believe and have pretty much confirmed that she is the first and only practitioner to ever receive this award in our movement. It is my honor and my privilege and joy to ask Tracy Brown, practitioner, Tracy Brown, extraordinaire minister, to come up here. And so at the convention and being acknowledged there. She also has an acceptance speech which we'll post as well. But getting this award in her home community, I know, means so much to Tracy, and so we want to also personally give you this award. Tracy Brown, this doesn't even come close. You have exemplified, you have modeled, you have lived, you have practiced in times where I imagine it's tough to stay in the center of oneself, in the center of God and life. And you have been a rock, not only in our movement, you've been a rock in this community since you've stepped in. You have been a presence, you continue to be, you are a teacher, you are one who has, I know, touched so many people's lives on an individual basis as a practitioner in session, countless prayers, being behind the scenes more than people know for Dr. Peter and myself, helping to unfold the annual theme and months and titles and topics and books. You ought to know that, probably. And we just know that you've only just begun, and that the world not only is waiting and ready, but they call you in bigger and bigger ways, if that is possible. So I honor you, I acknowledge you, I love you. I'm speaking for every single person who's ever walked through these doors, and any person you've met, that we see who you are and know that not only are you deserving, but you exemplify this award, and it's meant for you. Here's the Ernest Holmes. All over the place. We have a beautiful gift for you there, knowing that life continues to bloom. And then we also, you can open this later card and
abundance. There you go.
So she wants to speak, and we want her to speak, so she's going to say a few things.
Wow. And actually, that is the first word that I spoke after I got the phone call saying I was going to receive this award. And that was like after about 20 minutes of not being able to say anything. It was like, wow. Wow. Many of you know that my theme for this year is living in and as answered prayer. And I had no idea when I chose that theme for myself personally this year that that was going to show up in so many different ways, that prayers, in this case, not to be recognized, but to continue to walk in the spiritual truth and to daily remind myself to live from this place of spiritual principle and practice, to have that affirmed, to have that recognized by people actually makes me hold myself to a higher standard. Like, oh, like people actually are noticing. It's not just me noticing and monitoring myself. And on Monday evening, many of us who were receiving awards were in a room before the ceremony, and we were asked the question, what does it mean to you to receive whatever award you are receiving? And I didn't expect the question, and it was really busy, and I didn't really think about it. I just got up and rambled a little bit, and it was okay. It was fine. It was fine, but it was, just kind of extemporaneous. And then I took that question into spiritual practice the last 4 or 5 days, and 3 things keep coming up. One is that what this award means to me is that you don't have to be a minister to have a ministry.
Yep.
And another thing that keeps coming up for me is that you don't have to have a title to be a leader.
Yep. Yep.
And then the third thing that keeps coming up over and over and over again is that you do not have to deny your culture in order to participate in co-creating a new, expanded, loving, spirit-guided culture. And most of you know that for me that's really important because it hasn't always been easy navigating within science of mind and religious science as an African American woman. And it has been a part of my journey that I have not been willing to release or to ignore or to hide, and at the same time know that I am integrated in with all cultures, all types of people, because that is my life work. And so to be honored in this way, the Ernest Holmes Award reminds me that I can be who I am, and you can be who you are, and you can be who you are and still make a sizable contribution to all of us experiencing our spiritual magnificence. So I actually am very clear that I'm standing on the shoulders of Ernest Holmes, and I'm standing on the shoulders of Mother Pearl. And if you don't know who that is, just please ask me. I'd love to tell you that story. And standing on the shoulders of Dr. Donald Curtis, who introduced me to Science of Mind in 1986. And so for 31 years, I've been walking this walk and talking this talk. And while I stand on their shoulders, being really clear that Ernest Holmes did not intend, when he wrote the book, The Science of Mind, as a faith, a philosophy, and a way of life, he did not intend to start churches. His focus was educating each one of us in all of the world on how to use spiritual principles as a way of life. And so I am really honored and really excited about the opportunity I've always had to do that, and now the opportunity to continue to do that, not standing on only on the shoulders of those in the past, but standing shoulder to shoulder with Reverend Dr. Petra Weldis, who has allowed me so many opportunities to serve in this community, with Reverend Karen Fry on this shoulder, pushing me on to do more, and standing shoulder to shoulder with each one of you, my beloved community, who loves me and supports me and challenges me and just makes me feel like I am seen and valued. Thank you so